everyone, this is the developers of Ishtar Games. So I am Bruno, I'm the community manager, and I'm with Benjamin and Mathieu. So can you please introduce yourselves?
Yes, as Bruno said, I'm Benjamin. I'm working on the last spell and I'm project manager and game designer since 3 years.
And I'm Mathieu. I've joined the team as an intern in March of this year. And yeah, I recently just signed a full-time job with Ishtar to continue working on the last spell.
Right, so today we are just going to play the game a bit. We are going to do a few nights and tell you about the game in general and a lot of questions about the game. So yeah, I hope you will enjoy it. And so obviously the first question is, well, what is the last spell?
Yeah, I can answer that. So the last spell is a tactical RPG with a rogue-lite element. So the particularity is the game is not symmetrical. Like in every tactical RPG, you fight 3 versus 3 characters or 5. And in this game, you will fight. You will control 3 heroes against hundreds of enemies. So yeah, that's kind of the pitch of the game. And there is a unit of the level. So yeah, you play in the same level for the run, and you have to survive in this level and build your city. Progress your heroes and build walls, buildings that will help you and improve your heroes you will see when you will play the game. So I can also explain the game has 3 phases. So there is the deployment phase. We start with this one. So Mathieu is placing his heroes for the battle to come. That's the next phase, the battle phase, the night. And in this phase, you will have to defeat all the monsters. So, as I said, it's hundreds of enemies. And then there is the production phase where you build you improve your heroes, and that's it. So yeah, you can pass the phase. Let's go.
So, Mathieu, can you explain why you placed your characters like this, for example?
So basically, there are like 3 archetypes in the game. So melee, ranged, and magic. And so yeah, my first goal was to place my melee character quite close to what we call the fog, where the enemies come from, and then try to spread the other heroes just to see where the enemies are coming from and just anticipate.
Maybe you can open the character sheet to see why he is the magic character. So archetypes are determined by the weapon. All the skills are weapon dependent. So if you change your weapons, you will change your skills. It's not baked on the heroes. You can, in fact, our game it's pretty classless. Every heroes can do the same. Can do all the things, and you choose your skill by choosing your weapons. So here our mage has Vedic staff, oriented control, mass control with poison, debuff, things like that. Then we have Ramsey, our melee guy with sledgehammer, so big tank, big damage, and pretty fun to play. And then we have our range character, Rigoberto. Names are random, so but we can change it. Maybe we'll do that after I explain that. And he has the short bow, the best range weapon. And short bow is a little debuff oriented and damage. Pretty. What do we say? Pretty versatile. Yeah, you can play if you want.
Go.
So yeah, on the game you can see there are a lot of enemies. So how do you fight so many enemies at once?
Yeah, you want to answer that? Or?
I can. So yeah, basically you have like very strong firepower compared to most tacticals, I think. And
a lot of enemies will die in one attack.
in one shot, yeah, right. And you also have like a lot of areas of effects like this one, so you can easily just kill a lot of them with a few resources. So yeah, basically that's pretty much it.
Yeah, basically each heroes each turn will kill between 5 or 10 enemies, and the more you progress, and the more they will kill per turn enemies, and that's the reason why you want to improve your heroes to kill more enemies per turn. In fact, this is a good point to know how many enemies you kill per turn. It can really define if your hero is great or not. And yeah, it's not something classic for tactical RPG, because like I said, classical tactical RPGs are very symmetric, and yeah, an enemy will take 5 turns or 6 turns to kill, and here Mathieu has already killed 10 enemies. I don't know. Yeah, this is the last spell.
So you're saying that the last play is quite different from the other tactical RPGs in general, but maybe you took some inspirations from other games that maybe inspired you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we played a lot of tactical RPGs. In fact, this is I think the favorite genre from Mathieu Richer.
Yeah, director.
Yeah. Our biggest influence for the last spell was Battle Brothers. So it's a sandbox tactical RPG, very complex. Too complex for me, I think, but yeah, I really love the systems in Battle Brothers, but I didn't play much this game, but I played a long time Disgaea, the Disgaea series. It was a lot during my school years, and yeah, I think you can feel some Disgaea in the last spell, and yeah, a lot of Battle Brothers, and yeah, a little Final Fantasy Tactics. Something we don't do compared to Final Fantasy Tactics is positioning, orientation of your hero. There is nothing like that in the last spell. That's something quite popular in this genre, but we didn't done that.
What's interesting about the last spell is that it's a rogue-lite, so that's quite original for a tactical RPG. So can you explain the rogue-lite elements in the game?
Yeah, so it was a big challenge to find the right cursor, like between the good formula for this game, and we are still working on that because we are in early access, and yeah, we are still thinking about how can we improve the roguelite side of the game. So there is a meta screen where you can buy upgrades with a currency. So this currency is the souls, the tainted souls essence. So maybe you can show this. So this is the tainted essence. So each kill rewards you with some tainted essence, and you can buy some upgrades for your future runs. So there are permanent upgrades, and there is another kind of meta upgrades from a different screen. And in this screen, you will have to achieve some challenges to unlock metal graves. So yeah, right now we are playing with 100% save, so everything is unlocked because we are playing the late game. But yeah, there is a lot to unlock during your playthrough, and yeah, I think it takes maybe 20-30 hours to unlock all the content. It depends on the player, and yeah, there is a lot of unlocks.
How long do you think that it takes to do one run?
Again, that depends on the player type. I know I like to play fast. It's not the most efficient way to play the game. I can make a lot of errors, but there is Thomas, for example, he like to play very slowly, but all of his runs are perfect. And then there is Mathieu, I think you play fast too.
No, I used to play slowly, but yeah, for the demos and stuff, I try to just rush in, and because we need to show things, but yeah.
So yeah, for a complete run, it depends also on the haven. So here we are playing in Glenvald. Glenvald lasts 10 days, compared to Legberg is last 12 days. And yeah, Legberg, I think a normal run is like 10 hours, between 8 and 10 hours. Again, you can make it in 12 hours, I think, 14. Depends on the people.
Right. Maybe you could explain a little bit about Mathieu. You could explain a little bit about what you're doing, the attacks. So, for example, you're using the
Druidic staff.
Yeah.
Druidic staff, yeah. So basically, like there are many combos with the weapons, and they have like strengths and weaknesses. And the druidic staff is very good for poisoning enemies and let them die slowly, which is the case of Exterminate, for example. And the idea is to cripple them, and you get like extra bonuses if enemies are debuffed, like this one. We can see the effect that is called opportunistic, and this one like deals more damage on enemies that are already debuffed. So yeah, it's basically like crowd control and just crippling everything that is coming, and it's pretty efficient, I think.
One other thing that's interesting about the class spell is the synergy between the characters. Can you explain a bit about it?
Yeah, of course. It's very important to have a versatile team. Like if you take only melee characters, it will be difficult. It can be an interesting challenge, but yeah, I think it's better if you have a lot of variety in your skills, and it's important to have, for example, characters that will just deals a little damage to enemies, and one that will finish them, or characters that will control enemies. And yeah, that synergies are very important, and you have to think in terms of teams and not only one hero. It's really important, and the more you are advanced in your run, and the more it's important to think how my characters will interact with each other and complete their skill set. It's really important.
Yeah, I just like to add that all the different kind of attacks like magic, range and melee also have their own strength and weaknesses. For example, magic damage ignores half of the resistance of enemies. So when you face enemies that have a lot of resistance, for example, if you don't have magic damage, it can start to be a bit more annoying for your team. So yeah, you really need a bit of everything, or we're trying to do it like that.
Yeah, and you try in our design to face different challenge to the player, like this enemy has a lot of block, so you have to have one member of your team that can counter this enemy, If not, you will have a hard time to defeat these enemies, and it can be really run killer if you don't have this counter. So yeah, you have to build a lot of variety in your team.
What's surprising about the game is how many enemies you have in the game. Like in most tactical RPGs, you will have maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 enemies on the other side. But yeah, here you can see that Mathieu is killing with tens of enemies at once. In terms of game design, how is it hard to balance a game with so many enemies on the other side?
Yeah, it's hard to balance, and you have a lot of difficulty to find references for that, because when you're making a game, you're always watching other games, how they do that, and you take inspiration. But yeah, for the last spell it was difficult because every tacticals have poison. It's really cool, poison, but how do you make it work against 100 enemies? Because if you poison just one enemy, it's not cool. You prefer to use a normal attack, and we have to find adapt all the classical systems, debuff, poison, and adapt them to our game and our combat. So yeah, it was really interesting to design that, and again, we are still improving. Like debuffs are not are not perfect. So yeah, we are trying to resolve this with our updates, and to balance this, it's also difficult. But we are very iterative with the game. Before the release, we did 2 public demos, so it helped us a lot to see where the problems were, and try to discuss with the player solutions that can be achieved. And we are always hearing our player. And it's really interesting, difficult, but interesting to balance the game like that. Good challenge.
Yeah, well, the thing that the last spell is in early access, so we are constantly talking to players. Like, sorry, at the time the game has been out for 3 months, and so did you see many some players feedback that really that made you change your mind, or that affected you on the game in general?
So there is like new features that players suggest us, and we did them. They are very good to find some quality of life because they play a lot the game. We also play a lot, but we are biased by our work, so we can avoid some problem unintentionally. So for example, we introduced a new feature. If you press Alt, you can see. Yep. So I will press Alt. We can see all the move range of enemies. So that is something the players wanted, and we didn't vote on this. So it's really interesting. And in terms of balancing, they are discussing a lot on that on Discord, and we are really taking inspiration from their conversation, and we talk a lot with them, and in general, all their ideas are good, and we took that into account.
Yeah, in terms of balancing, it's interesting because there was a lot of discussion this summer in terms about the balancing. Some players maybe found the game a little easy, others found it quite hard. In our last major update, we introduced this city that is called Glenpad, and we decided to make it harder than the first map. Can you explain why you chose it? You want it to be harder?
So a lot of players have played a lot since the beginning of All Access, and we wanted to reward this player because they play a lot, and we wanted to give them some content, some challenge for them, and when you have unlocked all the meta upgrades, you are very powerful, and Lakeburg was too easy for them, so it was natural to make a new map harder than Lakeburg. And we had a lot of ideas before the release in terms of wave difficulty, but we didn't put them in Lakeburg because it was our first map. And we took some risk with this map, and for now it's really difficult. Maybe too much, but I think the more we will progress on the early access, and the more we will rework the balance. So maybe in the final version, gameplay will not be so hard, and maybe we will create a town harder, and we will be agile from on this.
That's cool. So now it's
maybe I can explain this phase.
Maybe Mathieu can explain.
Yeah, you can explain.
The production phase or just the okay.
Maybe what you are doing, and then
okay. So basically, when you finish the night, you enter production phase, which is basically setting up your economy, building up your city, and improving your heroes. So I was just doing level ups, classic level ups on my heroes. So you get not this one because I'm already in progress, but you get primary and secondary attributes, and you get to reroll them. But the more you reroll, the less choice you have. You have to pick carefully, be lucky because it's a rogue-lite as well. So of course there's a part of random and luck in this. You can just pick some attributes and
that's how you can build your heroes, and
it's
one of the way.
It's one of the way to improve them. There are of course other ways. I'm just gonna rush this quickly. Let's go. So then you have the perk tree. You need to pick perks for your heroes. So we have more specific things here. So I'm not gonna detail everything, but basically you can just pick extra. You can have extra abilities. You can have bonuses for specific damage. You can have many things in this, and the more you go, the more important they are.
And the more they are specialized, this factory is for that, to specialize your hero in certain gameplay. And we try to force some stereotype like berserk, take damage, and be more powerful. That's something we want. All perks are unique and force a certain type of gameplay. And that's something we are working on this.
So basically there are you can even get skills from this that you can use once a round or once a turn or this kind of stuff. So many things in this. There we go. And then you can just build your city. So to do that you have two different resources. You have the gold and the materials. So the gold is mostly what is inside the city and is what you want to defend, and the materials are what help you survive. So defenses and also buildings that can do damage like ballistas.
Active defenses.
Active defenses, right? So you can set up traps to slow down enemies or kill them, or you can build a watchtower to give you line of sight behind, for example, this pack of trees or many things. What else? You've got workers that live in houses, and those workers can do stuff like scavenging old ruins, or they can work in your buildings, producing items for your heroes, this kind of stuff.
This is our way to interact with buildings. This is classical stuff, Age of Empire, StarCraft. That's.
And you also have a shop where you can buy stuff and sell stuff also if you produce your own items.
Maybe you can not close the shop. I will explain the items. So there is a lot of colors. We took inspiration for our item system from Diablo on the loot systems, Dead Cells for roguelites, etc. And yeah, so you have all items give bonuses on attributes, and there are weapons too. And yeah, there is a rarity system. The more your item is rare, the more you will have bonuses. And yeah, that's something that add a lot of variety in items and give some deep choice sometimes, like, do I prefer to buy a more rare item but it costs more, but the bonus is cool, or maybe just keep my money and build some other buildings. Yeah, that's all the questions the players ask during this phase.
Yeah, it creates also a lot of replayability because you can like try to set up economy first, or focus on items, or you have a lot of choices. And
yeah, because your economy is there are two parts. So you earn money by finishing the night, and you have a score for the night. So maybe I will spend that on the next night.
yeah,
with
maybe
the
I
panic,
rushed it.
with the panic system. And so that's the first way to earn money. And then you have to build your economy with some buildings. So maybe you can go back to the construction menu. And yeah, there is, for example, the gold mine will produce some gold every day. There is a scavenger camp which will produce some materials, and then so they passively produce resources, but you can also use your workers to gain some more gold. And yeah, you have to build some more houses to do more action in the game in the day. And yeah, that's how the economy works in this game. So there is a lot of experimentation. Our players love to discuss about that on Discord, and that's cool to watch. And yeah.
Would you say that? Would you say that that this production phase is very critical for the chances of success?
Yeah. If you don't pay attention and if you adapt the wrong strategy, it can be very a killer for your run.
Do you have some tips for new players during this production phase? Like
Yeah.
what should they focus on when they don't really know the game very well?
I will let Mathieu talk about that.
Well, I'm not an expert on how to like what's the best way to make this, because you know we're trying to make many ways possible, but yeah, basically the idea is the more you can go further into the nights without needing extra resources like weapons and this kind of stuff, you need to spend like the most gold on building a strong economy for long term. So you need to like have a lot of workers, a lot of gold mines, and improve your production buildings, this kind of stuff. So it's really like a balance between trying to get more money or get more stuff to fight the monsters.
Yeah, beginners will have to buy some new stuff for their heroes because combat is difficult, and yeah, they will spend all their money into items. But pro players or people that begins to understand the game will keep their money for buildings and produce more gold. So yeah, the first day of the game will be difficult, but then it will be easier for them to improve their heroes during the late game. And yeah, if you do the beginner strategy, buy items right at the beginning of the run, it will be really difficult at the end
in the late game.
Yeah.
And a funny thing that I saw when players started to play after the release is that like the optimized way for your economy was to like sell a part of your stuff that you get at the beginning, and so they used to go like without pants and just play, and so they all had characters without pants. So it was really funny. I thought.
Screens were funny, like every hours were naked, and you were like, oh, why?
And why not?
We firstly, I think, saw the screenshots and were like, why? And then we just they just spoke about it, speaking about strategies between themselves and between each other, and that was kind of fun.
And as Matthew said, we try to have different strategy that work for this. You can, for example, with the new update, we reworked the shop to be viable for the game. So now we'll be able to just focus on the shop and try to upgrade it and buy our stuff with the shop. So a lot of strategies and we try to not have just one strategy to work, and that's difficult.
You mentioned a bit the players. There are other maybe strategies. What do you think about them? Like, were you surprised to see some strategies that they came up with?
I was really surprised because we thought as developers that we know our game by heart, but no. Players will always find some new ways to play with our systems, and that's really pleasant for me as a developer. It's really impressive to see that, to live that, and I'm always happy to read some new strategies and new ways to play with our systems that we didn't think at the base. So pretty interesting.
Matthew, were you surprised as well when you saw some strategies?
I think they came up with great ideas. I was kind of also a player of this game firstly, but it's always interesting to see what people come up with, and sometimes you're just like, it's genius, or sometimes you just don't understand, and sometimes it works, and it's
often it's genius, but you're like, oh, we need to fix that.
That happens. Also, but it's part of the early access, I guess.
So one question that I had that players would want to know is that the development actually started in 2019, if I remember.
Before?
2018, I think.
2018, 2018. So it was quite a long development. Do you have maybe some funny anecdotes or stories during that time?
I have one. It was for the Gamescom 2019. And we were preparing a demo for publishers, journalists, and we have a very bad bug. Like the game were crashed randomly while we were playing, so it was really stressful, and that was funny for now, but we found why this bug happened, and it was actually our quit button that was really small on the screen, like a pixel wide. Because when we quit the option, the button still remains on the screen, and when you click on this particular pixel, it was quitting the game, and there was no error on the console. It was really hard to find, and when we found it, it was like relief. And I cry and I laugh at the same time. It was. Game dev is fun.
Matthew, what about you? Do you have?
I guess before joining Ishtar Games, I was really interested in the last spell because I discovered it in when you released the prologue, which was a free demo on the Steam Festival. And there were I really enjoyed the game, and there were like maybe 2 or 3 things that I found just a bit frustrating because the game itself was already awesome, and it was just one or two things, and yeah, and when I joined the team, I had the opportunity to fix it myself, and I was like, yeah, there we
Finally.
go. Now the game is perfect. No,
Now I did myself.
And Matthew sent me a message like, there is this bug and I fixed it. Wow. Okay.
How did, so as we said, it was quite a long project. So has it changed a lot since its very first concept?
Yeah, of course. As I said earlier, we are very iterative in our production, and since the game have some original systems and ideas, we have to test a lot because we have to experiment a lot, and the games really change and. Even with our demo, because our first demo came 1 year before the release, and we changed drastically the production phase. Following the demo, we revamped everything on the production phase, and there are some gameplays that we fine-tuned a lot, like range weapon. At first, there was some ammo, so you have to manage a stock of ammo on each heroes. It was really cool, but really difficult, and we have to take some decision. Like, do we really need this in the game? So it changed a lot, and I think it will continue to change with the early access. That's part of the game. So yeah, maybe I can explain something on the combat. Since Mathieu is really good, we can see it. But a part of the combat is trying to avoid that enemies will come inside your city. So your city, you can click on the ground maybe.
Oh.
So yeah, you forgot about that.
Surprise.
Not paying so much attention here.
And as we saw in the description, it says that if an enemy will stand on a haven tile, the enemy will cause panic, and you can see a gauge. This gauge, the panic gauge, and it will increase this gauge, and this will determine how much money you will earn at the end of the night, and you can even earn an item. So it's really important to keep the enemy outside your city, and characters with Brigade type are really good at that. So it's add an extra challenge, not just to kill all the enemies, but kill all the enemies outside your city. We were discussing about that. We think we will revamp a little this system for the next update, because there are some flaws in its design.
There was one thing that we not showing here, but there's one thing called the Apocalypse in the game. Can you explain what?
So we played a lot of rogue-lite too, not just tacticals, but rogue-lite like Slay the Spire, Into the Breach, games like that. And we fall in love with the assertion system in Slay the Spire, and Monster Train did something like that too, and at this also. So when you finish the game for the first time, you unlock. Sorry. You unlock the Apocalypse system, and it allows you to play the game, but with some difficulty modifiers that will change your way of playing the game. So there is some classic stuff like enemies have more life, enemies are more. There is more enemies in wave, And then there is some specific gameplay elements, like you introduced the mist sensor, something that generates fog on the map, and enemies can hide themselves in it. Then there is an apocalypse that will add some negative attributes on them, so all items becomes a trade-off, and you have to think, do I really want to equip this item? Yeah, it's really interesting to design and to play, I think.
That's cool. Something that I wanted to ask you, maybe more as a game designer. Do you have maybe games in general that you find maybe inspiring? Maybe not directly for the last spell, but
yeah, as a designer, I really enjoy roguelike, especially Spelunky.
Okay.
I really love the work of Derek Yu on his game, and it really inspires me. I love how he thinks about the game design. And there is also Edmund Macmillan, so the creator of Super Meat Boy, Binding of Isaac. I really love how they make games, how they see the game design, especially Edmund Macmillan. He has a very systemic approach on Binding of Isaac, and it can create a lot of variety with just a single gameplay. For Super Meat Boy, there's hundreds of levels with just one gameplay. It's really cool to see how they work here. And in general, I really love Nintendo games, and the philosophy for designing games are really a big inspiration for me. So yeah, not RPGs, but really cool.
I have one question for the both of you. Like, what's the one game that made you say, okay, I want to work on video games in Magic?
Yep. I guess it would be something like Don't Starve. I'm not sure there is like one game that made me choose this career path, but definitely roguelites basically, and roguelikes such as Don't Starve. Because the replayability behind it, the strong mechanics, and this is definitely the kind of stuff I love. I also played a lot of Terraria, and yeah, I think this kind of games are just insanely good. Like you just want to play it. You can just like never stop. It's just crazy, and I hope we are going for something like this with the last spell, like creating a lot of replayability. I've seen that players already have like more than 200 hours in the game. It's just crazy, but it's a good sign. So
yeah. What you done
now? I think I always played. So my first game was Crash Bandicoot, and then I continue with Jack and Daxter. So I really enjoy what Naughty Dog is doing with this game, and I was like, I want to make something later, and also Dofus, so MMORPG from French studio. We are neighbors with them, and they were releasing a magazine each month with interviews from the developers and making of. And it was really interesting to read. I was like 13, 14 years old, and I was like, this life is cool. I want to live that, to develop games, and they were presenting all the different work, like game designers, graphists, and really interesting to read, and it really inspired me to make this. It's scary.
Right. So the two of you are working on the last spell. What maybe you have one feature or one element that you are very proud of in the game, Mathieu?
I guess that would be the the mist sensors, which are very late game, unfortunately. For but yeah, because yeah, that's that's a thing that I mostly did only by myself. So I'm kind of proud of it. Even if someone has been working on the thin mist as well. So yeah, it's never one people's work, in this kind of team, but still, it's nice to see. Also, this particular feature where you can just see all the movement. It's just the kind of feature where you see people using them, and when you did it, you're just like, yeah, okay, that's cool.
That's me.
That's cool to see just people liking what you're making and creating stuff. It's just awesome.
What about you, Benjamin? What's the one feature that maybe you're...
I think it could be all the skill effect. It was really cool to design with Thomas at the time, and Mathieu is using right now the propagation. Really cool to design, to imagine that feature. And then we have a lot of variety in that, and I think it's coherent. Really fun to design, and people are enjoying all these skills. So it's really pleasant to see
Right.
Just to kill those.
Okay.
They're coming. I want to defend my walls.
Maybe we haven't explained, but what's this little sign next to their health bar? I don't think we have explained it. But to the
What do you mean?
The debuff?
Yeah.
You can explain.
I guess. So basically, you can just debuff enemies with different spells. And what I've done here is poison them with the propagation. The skill that goes like just spread to an enemy to another, and until it reaches the maximum amount of bounces. And then I used entangle, which slows enemies down in a square. So basically those guys are just gonna die in 2 or 3 turns, and I'm just waiting for them to die since they just can't move at all. So very satisfying. So I guess the arrow just is the debuff, and the green part is the poison.
On the map that you're playing, you can see that there are a lot of trees. Obviously, you didn't put them just by chance. So why did you put trees, and what's the effect on the gameplay?
Yeah, that was our focus this summer. So our goal was to create a new level design. So there is the Legbourg Haven. And for this new one, we are like, we need to make something harder. And the Legbourg is very flat. There is not so much element outside of the city. And we wanted to go crazy a little bit with this one. And forest was the perfect fit for that. We can put a lot of trees to block line of sight, and range heroes are very strong in this game, so it was a counter to that, to say you have to move to actually see something, or maybe build more watchtowers. Try to think about that, and not just use your skill one less. And it was difficult to design that, because just one tree is not cool. We have to think about the different shapes to make something interesting.
What's interesting about the last spell is that it's obviously a very hard game, but you always try to tell the players what they are playing, what they are doing, like thanks to the tooltips.
I think it's a very strong intention and value in our studio. Like for Dead in Vinland, there was a lot. All the information were present every time the player needs them, and we believe in our design team that a good tutorial is no tutorial. Like you discover the game, and the game tells you the information when you need it, and yeah, you have to experiment and discover by yourself. It doesn't. Not everyone like this kind of approach, but it's ours, and yeah, there is not so much tutorials on the game, but as you said, there is a lot of tooltips, and you can just read, like for example, when Mathieu is selecting your skills, all the effects are explained always, even if you played 100 hours, they're still there. When you over resources, for example, you can over density cents or gold. We explain you how to use them, when to use them. You can select a building and yeah, for example, the houses. And yeah, you have a description for that. You can select the ground, and there is a description for that. A lot of information, and yeah, we believe that if there is enough information at the right time, there is no need for a tutorial. But that's again, that's something that not all people like.
Yeah, that's a choice. But
yeah, the design choice. Yeah.
Yeah, we mostly try to give the player all the information they need, and yeah, at some point they just have it whatever they want.
Yeah.
Alright, something that we haven't talked about today is the music of the game.
Yeah.
So maybe who is making this awesome music?
So this music is made by The Algorithm. French band, I should say the French guy, Rémi Gallego. So yeah, when we were searching for a composer, Mathieu, the creative director, said to me, I want something synthwave, a little bit retro, dynamic. Yeah, he played Domino, and yeah, he loved the OST. And in fact, it's one of my favorite genre of music. So I knew a lot of bands from this show, and there was The Algorithm, but it was not synthwave like bands like Carpenter Brut or something like that. It was more metal, synthwave and metal, and yeah, Mathieu loved his music, and we contact him. In fact, we contact a lot of bands, and we were very surprised because we received a lot of positive response, and we were like, what? A lot of people want to work with us. That's cool, but yeah, now we have to make a choice, and The Algorithm was the biggest, and yeah,
Your favorite?
My favorite, and even with there's a lot of people listening to this music, and yeah, that's really cool to work with him, and he's doing a fantastic job, and
Yeah,
yeah, he's really yeah, he know how to make a video game OST. And for example, he really surprised us when at one time he took all the musics and remixed them, added some guitars, some effects, and it was really cool to see.
Even better.
Even better, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
That's
I was
great.
waiting for you.
So this screen is the panic screen. We see that how we did in this night. So yeah, we see the gauge a little bigger than before, and yeah, we saw that Mathieu has S rank. So he maybe one enemy enter your city.
I think 1 or 2, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I didn't mention that, but also when an enemy attack one of your building, it will cause panic. So maybe it's that you didn't see him, and yeah, so you have a S rank, and we see that you earned 110 golds and material and one item. that we will take during the production phase. So yeah, you can pass. That's cool. I think. Yeah. Oh, the mist.
Is thickening.
Anyway. Yeah, you can maybe take your reward from the night. So yeah, night reward, also gold mine,
yeah,
but
there was the gold one,
yeah, and yeah, you can see a reward. So every time you have a reward of an item from the night, from your building, you have free choice, and yeah, you have to think what is the best for your team to choose. And one particularity from the reward of the night is the pool of item is huge. So here you have a trinket, an offhand, and a weapon, two-handed weapon. So
And you can even compare it to the...
Yeah, you can choose one of yours and compare.
The mage.
Yeah, Jacob. Yeah, I think it's cool for him. And we didn't mention that, but heroes can have 2 sets of weapon. So here you can take the Tome of Magic.
Yeah, I actually did this on the
Oh, I didn't say that. But,
yeah, I didn't use it at all, but yeah.
You forgot about that. And yeah, you can equip it, and there is no malices for that. You just equip and swap. There is no cost also to swap items. Yeah, it's very flexible. And yeah, maybe lastly, we can show something we integrate further access, the customization.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's cool to show. So yeah, every character you can customize them, so you just have a button. And you can customize everything, the name, the parts of his portrait, background colors, skin color, hair, eyes, everything. And yeah, you can maybe click on the random button, everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you can also untick beard link to hair. It creates a really fun situation. And yeah, it's really cool, and you can also share your creation with the community. Oh yeah, that's any, and yeah, you have all the parts, no constraints, and really it can create
some very cool.
Yeah. Cool and original design like this
That's
one. It's really cool.
And you can even rename them as you want.
Yeah.
It's actually already being randomized.
Yeah.
And
you can see you have team members in the names. Like you have Matthew, so we changed a little bit the name, but yeah, you can.
And you can share the codes.
Yeah, and input codes. So yeah. It's really cool to
and that was actually something that we knew that we wanted to do it, and players wanted. Asked for it, so yeah, we were able to give them maybe 1 month after the release.
Yeah, 1 month. That's right. That was it.
That's the very first release.
So yeah.
So yeah, that's the last pen. I mean, right now we are still early in the early access. We still have quite some big updates to come.
But there is already a lot of content, as I said. To finish the game, all the content, I think minimum 30 hours is something like that.
And so for the last update, we mostly focused on this new map because it took us a lot of work, because the developers went quite crazy on that one.
Yeah, graphics, coders, game designers, we all kind of do what we wanted to do. So yeah.
And now right now we are mostly looking at what players think about this map. We are always thinking about the balancing, the bug fixing, and the upcoming new features.
Yeah. I'm working on the next updates, and yeah.
So yeah, I think that's all for today. Well, thank you very much for watching us. And if you don't know the game, well, you can just look at the many videos. We have a really cool community on Discord, and yeah, we hope you will like the game.
Yeah, you can ask a question on our Discord if you have question about the game before buying it or support it.
Yeah, we are always there, and even when we are not there, we have this very cool community.
Yeah,
definitely.
So yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you will like the game.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.